Hey, yeah. Welcome back. This is Champion Standard. Rob's on the other side of the glass. I'm Brad. Thanks for joining us again. Please like, subscribe. Uh, uh, another tough loss. Another tough loss. Another tough loss. this
I know.
this I know it's old hat at this point. Rouge 37-17 defeat to the Bengals. The yeah. Um, just
The
a
Tigers.
the Tigers. Just another disappointing loss. We find new ways or the same ways to lose games all the time. It's same
Yeah.
story. Um, offense, one big play. Offense scored 10 points. We've talked about it all year. Here we are, Rob. We've been mentioning it for the last month. The last time the offense scored over 20 points was Tulane.
Sad. It's just
Terrible.
sad.
Terrible. And then last night, on top of the offensive woes or struggles, and the defense, in particular, the secondary, just get lit up. Um, several huge plays. I can think of four, maybe five, where they got 30 plus yards, a couple of 40-yard touchdowns. Just and didn't even mention the kickoff return that was just a backbreaker. We had all the momentum, all the momentum. I think we had just
Yep.
went up 14-10,
Yep.
kickoff, take it to
Oof.
the
Vanished.
house, gone.
Done.
Never
Yep.
got it back.
Yep.
Never got it back.
Nope.
Terrible.
Had the lead for what? 3, 4 seconds? 8
Yeah,
seconds of
however long it took
play?
that guy to run
Never
down the
run it
field,
back.
whatever. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
right.
No.
That's about right with the season the way it's gone.
Yeah, that was awful. And then Nussmeyer just looks like his shoulder's dislocated. Goes to the locker room, comes
Pops
out,
back in
pull.
play. Yep.
What the hell? Comes
Had
out and
some
throws his.
Tramadol
Yeah. Oh my God. Just
and then
awful.
goes and just scores 20 more points.
Yeah. Uh, Arnold was
Yeah.
running for his life most of the night. Um, I I got to hand it to Arnold. He's been very gritty the last several starts and just you know running for his life, taking the hits, getting back up. You know, could he stay in the pocket a little more possibly? But man, with that offensive line we have, no guys. Tom Brady's not going to want to stand in that pocket.
No. No.
It's just been breaking down all year long. So
It's incredibly inconsistent. Spencer Brown just did not look like he even liked to play football. Like he was on skates the whole time. And I
mhm.
think I saw a tweet on or an X post or whatever you want to call it. 11 pressures given up by Spencer Brown, and that negated, by my count, like 3 or 4 plays downfield to open guys that were just he put pressure in Jackson Arnold's face, and then what happens when you have a freshman quarterback or a first year quarterback getting all this pressure? He gets happy feet and he bails out of pockets and staring down at receivers, trying to get rid of it, can't get rid of it, takes off. I mean, that was our offense, was quarterback scramble.
Hey, let's go ahead and get in some of our takeaways yesterday.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, let's see. First takeaway for me, defensively. We got a little bit of fool's gold last week, I guess you could say. Um,
A little bit.
Alabama, LSU, very different offensively, scheme wise, and Alabama's strengths just happens to be our strength on defense is shutting down the run, but LSU's got a much better passing game, and that definitely reared its ugly head
Yep.
last night over and over and over again. Our secondary's kind of been I guess, sheltered a little bit just by some of the teams that we played here lately, but they weren't last night. Eli was on his island, and everybody else last night, and it showed. Um, Several, what, 2 long touchdown passes, maybe a third. I can't remember, but a lot. Um, just a yeah, just a bad
Yeah,
defensive performance from the secondary.
you know, I the speed that LSU had out wide really put these corners in off man, and they still got beat. They were still getting beat 8, 9, 10 yards off ball because this quarterback has a big arm and he could lay it out there, something that Milroe does not have. Alabama had the speed, but LSU having the speed and the big arm quarterback really put pressure on the outside. And the other thing that our edges could not, even with, RMT hold started early. He got held quite a few times. They didn't call it. The ref was standing 5 yards right there watching him get held. And we couldn't get after the quarterback. Nuss just had his time to pick us apart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's how simple it was.
Yeah. Just extra second or two. We would collapse the pocket a little bit, but just couldn't quite get to him, and that's all he needed. Step into a few throws, and even with a limp arm, he
Yep.
was throwing some darts for sure. But yeah,
I mean, he finished with 260 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 22 of 31.
Josh Williams 5 of 6. Caden Durham was 4 of 4. He was one of those that caught all of his out of the backfield. Kyron Lacey 3 of 5. Mason Taylor 3 of 6. C.J. Daniels 3 of 5. Chris Hilton and Pimpton both had 2 of 2, and then Aaron Anderson had 1 of 3. So,
Okay.
yep.
It just didn't seem like we got. Does it say how many PBUs we got?
Yeah, not. I don't think I have that here on.
I did not feel motivated putting together the dashboard this morning. Like I just, another loss, and we've seen
Mm-hmm.
the stats over and over again. No vertical threat on the offense. Worst pass blocking efficiency lines and since before 2017. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look on the flip side of our receivers, so 14 of 19 targets caught. Jacob Jordan, 6 of 8. And then only one other receiver got more than one target. Yeah.
Well, when we look at the film, you'll see that the Arnold staring down at Jordan and wide open guys with their hands up saying, "Give me the ball," and doesn't see it, or pressure doesn't allow him to see it. I mean, it's the same story. I mean, there's watching that game, none of it surprised me. None of it,
Mm-mm.
0.
Yeah.
None, losing that game.
Yeah.
The only thing that might surprise me a little bit was the run game wasn't as effective as it was in weeks prior. It was probably the worst run game that we've had since before South Carolina, and that's a little disappointing. And those backers for LSU were triggering on Arnold's read, his little mesh read, the read, the RPO, all that stuff. They were triggering hard. There was plays where we would run the counter action to the right, and the linebackers would shoot left to go to the replay. Like, shoot. I mean, they were like out of a cannon, take off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we didn't make them pay for that, which is very different when we watched the Alabama tape where you were using motion and we were using all the shifts. We were getting those backers flowing left and right, and we were making them pay for it over and over again. In this game, LSU, with reckless abandonment, was just teeing off and going. and we didn't call anything to make them pay for it.
Mhm. No,
Nothing, zero,
no.
and that was disappointing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you
The
got a
one
linebacker
time
that's
the one time we tried to run the shovel pass, they ate that alive.
because I mean that they've seen it. Like
Yep.
it failed in the Alabama game too, didn't it?
Yep. Well, it was successful a couple times, but it failed a couple times too. But
Yeah.
um, and the problem with OU is we've been lucky if we've been one dimensional on offense this year because there's games we've been no dimensional on offense. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No
Well,
dimension whatsoever. Not even one dimension. Which that defenses want to put you in that position to make you one dimensional. Well, when we're no dimensional, I mean, you and I could go out there and they would let us suit up and play defense against our offense. I mean,
oof,
it's
yeah.
ugly. Yeah, very ugly. You're
So
right.
who were on offense that you thought had a good game?
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
in your watch, who was it that you thought had a decent game?
Well, Jackson, I'm looking at the rushing stats 17 rushes, 99 yards. That's good.
Yeah.
That's 4.4 a yard.
Yeah. But
Um,
most of it was scramble stuff, taking off.
I know. I
Which I
know.
mean,
Well,
being
you
getting
you asked
first
me who
downs
had
is
it. Yeah,
yeah.
you asked me who had a good game, and I'm thinking kind of hard on that one. So I had to try to find
I
something.
I thought Howland had a good game. Howland didn't.
Okay.
I thought Howland was pretty good. Ozida gave up some stuff. He got. There was a play where I'm not sure. I wish we had time. Maybe have time to show it. LSU's backers were in this like track, almost like this track stance, like 5 yards off ball, and Ozida got completely misjudged the speed of the guy and got wrapped around him pretty
Mm.
easily. But I thought Howland had a decent game. X Rob
Uh,
Xavier Robinson's tearing it up. He's doing good. I mean, I know it sounded
yeah,
like he got banged up, and I mean, I don't know.
he got banged
It
up,
was
but
rough.
he had 10 carries, 21 yards, which isn't good.
I if you watch some of this run play stuff, it's
I
not
know.
him making the wrong read. He actually made
I
some good reads.
yeah
It
yeah
just he wasn't
you're
there.
right. Our running game was non-existent. Um, so yeah, which leads me to my second takeaway. One explosive play all night. Other than that, um, had a couple of good plays just to get 10 points on the board offensively. But Rob, I've been asking for a Bauer sharp pass all year, and I got it, and it was the absolute worst pass of college football season by any team.
Well, here so I looking at that play,
God
watching it on the
Almighty!
broadcast, I was like, "What is he trying to do?" Because it looked like he was trying to push the ball downfield, but there was only one passing outlet, and it was Reagan's that was coming on a cross country crosser all the way across the field,
Yeah,
which is
or
stupid.
Arnold.
You would have
That was
somebody
his only
fake
two
a screen,
options.
and the play, looking at it, I posted on TFB, was to throw it back to Arnold. The
Mhm.
play was designed to throw it back. All the linemen, people were making fun of the linemen
He laid down.
jumping down, lay down on the ground. It was actually not a bad design
It
play.
wasn't. It wasn't. I
It
know.
would have worked if number 4 defensive end was a dumb player, but he wasn't. He was a smart player. That backside defensive end hangs, like he holds, like he hangs. He stays in his integrity is don't let anybody get outside of him. He
Yeah.
flows a little bit, and then he's like, "Yeah, something ain't right here. Something's not right. Something's not right." And Bauer tries to, comes back and defense bench is like, "Oh, what?" And Arnold's not even have his hands up. He's just standing there.
He's just
And
watching.
then
Yeah.
all the linemen pop up and they flow to the left, and it would have been 5-on-1. There was only one
No,
guy out
yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and it would have been an automatic touchdown. It That wasn't the problem. The problem was Bauer, like, being like a chimpanzee and slinging the rock, like slinging poop out, just taking it, just throwing the
Yeah.
football up in the air for no reason.
Yeah.
that's where it's like, why? Just if it does like that's not
If it's not
surely that's
there,
not what
eat it.
they
Just eat
eat
it.
it.
Yeah.
Just eat it.
No,
Just don't
he got spun around and tossed the ball like it was a shot put.
and
Yeah.
lately I lately I've been defending Bauer and his
I
effort
know.
for
I
weeks
know.
because he had been blocking very well. Effort was there. You can see from the beginning from that Temple game until the last game, the effort was there, getting better and better. He was throwing it, but then he makes a bonehead move. But at the same time, when we're practicing that shit, that garbage,
Mhm.
when the simple plays are not being executed, you're wasting practice time on these tight end jet sweep power read stuff and this tight end throwback pass. Just run the simple plays. Like your team's not running the simple plays. They can't run a mesh route for Christ's sake. They can't run some of these simple they can't run a hitch. They can't run a hitch. The quarterback doesn't see a hitch or a curl. Like those simple plays need to be repped first before you start repping this other crap. Like the tight end pass would have been great if you were doing these simple plays and executing them at a higher level. But because you what you mentioned, our offense zero dimension offense, like a tight end throwback play ain't gonna salvage that. You need to
Yeah.
go back and drill your problems. And
Yep.
this whole year it has felt like they have not drilled their problems, or if they have, they're the wrong drills and they're not working.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. No. Yeah. Usually those are the kind of plays that kind of misdirection, catch the defense up, but you can't misdirect if you're not actually doing something to start with. So, um,
Exactly.
one last point I was wanting to make on the defense. Uh, I know last night was a bad showing, but I don't want that to be how people remember that defense, because that defense was good this year, good to great. We called them great. Um, I thought they
I've
had a
rolled
really
it.
good, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think they've had a really great season defensively. It was I know it was a fun defense to watch again. It's been several
Yeah.
years where we've been
Yeah.
able to like enjoy watching defensive football in Norman, and we got to do that for most of the season. I realized there were some bad quarters, a bad game, but for the most part, that defense, you know, did a lot of good things this year. So,
If you're looking at the defense and you were separating run defense and pass defense, run defense
mhm.
wise, it's the one of the best in the country.
A
Like it,
plus.
it might, and Danny might had Stutzman might have had the most efficient run stopping linebacker play for OU in 20 years.
Hmm.
Like run stop efficiency, run stops, run plays only, and the stops that he collected through the year has got to be the best year a linebacker's had in 20 years. I wish I had the stat. I know it's the
No,
best in the
I'm with
last
you.
going back to 2017 was what I have.
Hmm.
It has got to go back to probably the Layman and Torrance Marshall days.
Curtis
Like you
Lofton days, and yeah,
Curtis Lofton, and you're gonna have to go way back
yeah.
to some serious linebackers, and that helps when you've got John Terry and Dominic Williams sitting in
Hmm.
there wreaking havoc, and even some of the edge play during versus the run has been good. And you look at the run defense, awesome, fantastic, exactly the kind of run defense you need in the SEC. When you move to the pass defense, that's where I get a little shaky
Hmm.
because there's been some the Luther Burden 3rd and 16 post wheel after other teams have ran the post wheel, the adjustments weren't there. LSU ran a post wheel and got us. That one concept, the post wheel, for whatever reason, we cannot stop it. You have Jacoby Johnson and is fighting the grass monster out there all the time,
Hmm.
tripping and falling, and guys are given too much space, or they're the football IQ, like, okay, hey, it's 3rd and 16. I've given ground. There's nothing in front of me, like Woody. There's nothing in front of me. I can work myself back. And he doesn't, and he creates space. And that's where I get a little lost. Like, here's a stat for you. I think I have it here. This might. So Oklahoma defensively on 3rd down, pass defense on 3rd down has given up 36 first downs. So on 3rd down, our pass defense is giving up 36 first downs on the year, which makes them 95th in the
Mm,
country out of 130 teams. That's where I'm like, because
yeah.
they're so good on run defense,
Hmm.
they get these teams in 3rd down, they throw it, they get a first down, they move and just creates drives. It creates drives like that 75-yarder against Missouri against a high school quarterback, first down, touchdown, they're back in it.
Hmm. Yep. No, I
That's where
agree.
I get a little lost there
Yep.
with the
Yep.
pass defense.
Yep. Rush defense, great. Pass defense, average for the most part. I will say pass defense, you have a healthy Gentry Williams and Kendall Dolby all year.
Oh god. It
The pass defense becomes great or good, not
yes,
just
I
average.
agree.
And you're
Yes, I
not giving
agree.
up. We probably win the Missouri game.
You could, yeah. I
We
mean,
have a better chance of hanging in that game yesterday if we have a Dolby and a Gentry out there on the field.
yeah,
So I know we can't talk about the guys that are injured, but we got we got a dozen
sure.
guys on that injured report, and they're key components. There's two key cogs on that defensive side to go with the 10 guys on the offensive side.
Right.
Um,
Now, the playing devil's advocate to that is that
mhm.
Kendall Doby and Gentry, we lost them early in the year in non-con. So you've had plenty of time to get a
Dolby
corner.
was Tennessee, but yeah.
Yeah, well, sorry, yeah, Tennessee. But you had multiple games and we're still seeing those same concepts in the late end of the year that
Hmm.
it's just there's not a coaching points are not taking effect and stopping some of these concepts that every team has ran. Like the post wheel, I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
It boggles my brain that we are not able to defend it. And another little stat, so OU, we've given up 7.3 yards per play on pass defense, and that is 74th in the country. That's not great. I mean, LSU's sitting there at 85. LSU was terrible last year and was terrible this
Hmm.
year, and we
Hmm.
couldn't take advantage of it. Kentucky's at 104. I'm just kind of giving us some perspective. Vanderbilt's 108th, so we're kind of in that pack of LSU and Vanderbilt as for and Missouri is 74th as well
Hmm.
as yards per play given up on pass defense. So I don't I wouldn't I when we started this year, we were thinking this defense is going to be elite. And then injuries like you mentioned
Yeah.
and getting into play, and then you've got your offense that is not helping the defense at all,
Right.
0. And it went from elite to great to good
Yep.
based on the things outside of them. And that yeah. So,
Yeah. Um, Last takeaway for me. I know it's been tough for all of us to watch things transpire the way they have this year. So uh, I know a lot of us are glad the season's kind of wrapping up, regular season anyway. Um, yeah, I normally look forward to Saturdays, but man, there's been a lot of Saturdays this year. I'm just kind of like, man, I just hope we keep it close. I just hope we keep it respectable.
I
I just hope we can
I
score 10 points on offense. And that's not how you and I grew up, man.
no.
So it's been hard to,
Really, it's Sunday morning that I've dreaded the most.
yeah.
Sunday morning, waking up knowing we lost
Hmm.
because usually on Saturday I'm an internal optimist. I hope and I pray
Yep.
and
Yep.
we get into the game, and I love football. We all love watching football. It's
Hmm.
Sunday morning, waking up and going, God, I have another loss. And there was an Alabama fan at the tailgate and at the Alabama game, and I talked to him, and I was like, "How do you feel, on Sunday mornings?" I don't know how it's been a long time since I woke up Sunday morning with a win. Like it's been a while, and 'cause it's Sundays that are the days that I dread because I wake up and we lost another one, and I want to put things together for the pod. I want to watch
Yeah.
film. I want to
Yeah.
enjoy. I want to look at stats. I want to do all of it. I have a hard motivation is really really low to dive into losses. It's been a long rough season, and um I'm excited for the off season
Yep.
and hope to build. Hopefully, there's some hope, some new hope that's coming this off season. You and I have a lot of great plans for the pod and
Yep.
everything for the next God off season's like 9 months long,
I know.
so we're gonna keep ourselves busy. This will be a quick off season. We've got a lot of stuff that
Hmm.
we've got moving around. So
Yeah. No, it was a tough football season for, someone like you and I to be starting our inaugural podcast season.
we
Um,
picked such a
we
bad year, man.
Well, I'm kind of glad we started back in April, before the spring game, because we had 4 months before the season started, and to
Yeah,
kind of get used to things. The season didn't go how it was, but at least we didn't start at the beginning of the season and
sure.
had to endure what we've had to endure the last 8 weeks or whatever. But
Yeah.
we're not going anywhere. If we can make it through seasons like this, we're definitely not going anywhere. So,
Right.
and like Rob said, we got lots of plans coming. There's a lot of new things that'll be coming on the podcast and our website, and we're really excited about. Um, and we love to keep it. We keep things as genuine, and there's not a lot of fake stuff you're going to see on here. We just two guys coming on here, and Rob does a fantastic job with all the video breakdown, all the film breakdown stats, and you'll be hard pressed to find anybody that can do what he's doing. But yeah, so wrapping up the regular season, now we wait and see. We wait and see in the coming days on who our next OC is going to be. We got
Oh
signing
boy,
day, early signing days Wednesday. The portal opens up next week.
it's
Um,
gonna be wild. This is gonna be
so
the wildest ride the next week and a half.
yeah, so brace yourself, folks, because there's going to be some ugly news that happens, and hopefully a couple of good things over this next month. But um, there's definitely going to be some bad things, whether it's portal. And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but just with the portal, the guys going to the portal,
Oh,
and
there's gonna be a bunch of dudes that are leaving. A
you know,
bunch.
if we can keep the signing class intact, that'll be a plus. Whatever OC hire we get, that's going to have mixed reactions. We'll likely have a special pod for the next OC hire, so stay tuned on that. It's There's a good chance it'll happen here in the next 48, 72 hours, so just kind of stay tuned, and we'll try to jump on whenever that comes across. But yeah, so what's your what's your thoughts on the next OC hire? I know there's you know a
Uh,
name, the name that's been thrown out there for the last week or so has been Ben Arbuckle, and then there's the Joe Craddocks,
yep.
the Buster Faulkner. Who's the
And
other name I'm
Cade
forgetting?
Cade Bell,
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
yeah. So Rob, what's your thought if it ends up being Arbuckle at the end of the day?
A Ben Arbuckle hire kind of tells me a few things. One, they prefer the air raid. They want to bring the air raid back to Norman. There's been lots of success with the air raid, right? With Lincoln Riley and with Mike Leach and all of that. They've had won a ton of games with the air raid system. There's questions if the air raid, fits the SEC, and I think it does. I mean, to me,
It
I don't.
doesn't matter
In
anymore.
my point of view, philosophy. It's not a playbook. It's a philosophy. As long as any other philosophy, if you commit to it, you bring great teachers in and you recruit the personnel to run it, and you're going to find success.
Mhm.
Really, it's all about execution at the end of the day. If we wanted to run the triple option, go get the greatest triple option teachers and commit to it and recruit the personnel and then go.
Yeah.
Um,
Barry's getting up there in years, Rob. What are you talking about?
yeah, right. Bring him back. Bring Barry
Yeah,
back.
that's right.
Um, so does the air raid fit? Yeah, I mean Lane Kiffin runs versions of air raid. Like he's got
Sure.
like every offense has taken Mike Leach's and Hal Mummy's philosophies and applied it to their playbook. That's how
Mhm.
influential it is. They might not be taking it to the level at which the tendency of the play calling, but they have those philosophies in the SEC today. Veer and shoot as well with Josh Heupel. So there's everyone's has their philosophies. So if they're going after Ben Arbuckle, they're saying we want air raid.
Mhm.
Somebody, Brent or Joe C's like I want to bring air raid.
And I'm wondering if there's a little Bob Stoops influence there since air raid was so successful under his regime. And you and I sat here and said, Bob needs to be in their ear when they're making this hire.
I would
And
love to know if that's happening because it would. I mean, in any capacity to bring Bob in as a consultant
mhm,
and just pick his brain just a little bit. Yes, he's been out of the game for a while, but like he has such a wealth of knowledge. He can I'm not saying he has like the gavel and he's going to be like this is the ruling. Just come in and pick his brain a little bit and be like, "Hey, what is it about the air raid?" Like he's been around the air raid. He's coached against it and
mhm,
he had the OCs with it and he practiced against it and
yeah,
everything. He could
yeah,
give the guy maybe he did influence. I don't know. I would love to see Bob back in capacity. I mean, anyway. So yeah, that's a good point. But it Ben Arbuckle says, Hire says we want the air raid back. Okay, so we want the air raid back. The next thing is, well, we all knew Mullen was out there, and by all the reports from TFB and Sooner Scoop and all of them said that Mullen contract was at least it was they never had a number, but we can all guess it was well north of 3 million. It's probably like three, maybe close to four. It was like 3.5, close to four. So it's not necessarily about the coin, but maybe bringing Ben Arbuckle saves you some coin in case next year doesn't happen. You're not committing a bunch of dollars and
mhm,
another buyout for another
sure.
coach. So money has to most likely be a factor. The third thing I have is people. So Brent might not feel comfortable scrapping the offensive staff. And so if you're not going to give the OC autonomy to bring his own staff in
Mhm,
and you're saying I'm going to keep coach A, B and C. Well, like possibly other coaches might say I want to. Like, I have my own offensive line coach. I don't want Coach Beanbo.
mhm,
I have my own. He knows my system. We've worked together. And so they might just be like, scratch off. And there might be candidates that interviewed for OU that they said, okay, we want to bring you in. Let's talk. Well, I want to bring these guys in.
sure.
And Ben, if you look at Ben Arbuckle, he's only been in Division One football for 4 years. It's not like the guy has a lot of network.
Yeah,
And if
wet
you
wet
really look
behind
at
the
it,
ears for sure. Yeah.
and if you look around, most of the guys he's worked with are at Texas Tech. So with Kitley, which goes into my next point. If you're wanting the air raid,
Mhm,
why is it Zach Kitley getting more recognition over here? Why are the insiders not talking about Kitley? The dude
Yeah.
has twice the experience, runs the exact system. He sits at Texas Tech, where a school where we poached from for
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
We got his wide receivers coach on staff right now in Emmett Jones.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to get air raid, why are we not going after him? And if we did he say no? Did he
Right.
not? And if he said no, and we're at a position right now where Texas Tech OCs are passing on the OU job, that sends more messages and more signals to me
Yeah.
than I would like to know, than I want to know.
Yeah. And I agree. It could be one of those things where Kitley wants a head coaching job as his next job. It's
And
something as
that's where
simple
we
as that,
sure,
and
sure.
which is acceptable.
Absolutely. I mean,
Um,
and I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping we
right.
get into this offseason and Kitley
Right.
goes to the head coaching, and I'm like, "Okay,
That'd
that
make
makes
you
more
feel
sense."
better. Yeah, that'd
It
make
would
you
make
feel a
me
lot
feel
better.
better.
Yeah.
It would make me all yes, it would, because
Mhm.
then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, the guy's on his way. But if he stays with McGuire over there, like, I'm gonna be like, "What? Like, that what?" And we hired Bi okay. I yeah, that would
Yeah.
send some signals, especially when the coin you're willing to go spend for Mullen,
Mhm.
like, you could easily just be like, "Okay, we'll get Kitley now."
Sure.
So
Yeah.
there must be something there. So that those are the 3 things with Ben Arbuckle. It must be
Mhm.
about staff, money, and preference, because he's inexperienced. He's only been a play caller for a year and a half, 2 years max, and he's only been in division football for 4 years. He's a non-power 4 coach trying to jump into an OC job that goes into the SEC against some of the best defensive coaches and staffs in the country.
Mhm.
That's 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 a tough sell for me today.
No, that makes sense. Um, and I think we'll use that as a little segue here. You just touched on something there. This next OC is going to be going against the best of the best in the country as far as defensive coordinators are concerned. So um, that leads us into a guy that led a team against one of those SEC defenses over the weekend, Buster Faulkner.
Sure. Yep.
I mean, everybody's on the Buster bandwagon.
Well, I mean, after well,
I'm
yeah.
myself
Well,
included. I
it
mean,
makes more sense.
yeah,
It makes more sense.
it does. I
He
love his brand of football. It's just tough, run first, like extra committed to the run. And he's got a mobile quarterback. We'll definitely have a mobile quarterback, whether it's
no,
Arnold,
right. We will.
whoever it is. But I'd be fine. I'd be fine if it's Buster at this point. Like if I'm ranking those guys we mentioned, it's Buster and then Craddock, Arbuckle, Bell for me if I'm ranking those four. Um, and I liked Buster before this weekend, but that outing against Georgia, they that offense was clicking against. I don't know. Georgia's still one of the best. What top 3, 4 SEC defenses? Top two.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are this year, but um,
Yeah, it's still Kirby Smart. They might
it
have
it.
a down year, but it's that staff is still a championship staff.
Mhm.
And even in a down year, they got 10 wins.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
a 10-win team,
They may
and
win
they're
the
they're
SEC
down.
championship next
Yeah,
weekend. Yeah,
with it and they're down. They're
yeah,
a down team. That's
yeah,
we'll go over there, but that's where, where the champion standard is, right? Is you're elite, and even in down years, you
hmm
are competing at the highest level, and you just win. You find ways to
yeah,
win.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
Ben Arbuckle. And another thing I want to mention, maybe with the Ben Arbuckle hire, is that it perceivedly he's got a quarterback that he can bring with him. So if Jackson Arnold darts and is gone, which I think he's gone, then he's got a quarterback standing ready. I mean, that's the argument for Ben, right? The money, the staff, the money, the staff,
Sure.
and the preference for air raid and the quarterback. I forgot to mention the quarterback.
Yep.
So then you look at Buster,
Hmm.
and Buster runs that. I mean, Britt Key, the head coach, I believe he was a former Alabama O-line coach,
Mm.
and I mean that's where, I mean, I think Buster and Coach Beatenbow pairing would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
It'd be a
the run game
great
and
fit.
the way that he uses RPOs and screens and just it looked good. It looked good. And
Hmm.
um the quarterback play from, what was his name? Hawkins? What was the quarterback play?
Haynes King.
Haynes. That's right. Haynes.
Haynes King. Yep.
So very decisive.
Hmm.
Junior, decisive. I mean, that we are lacking that. He goes through his progressions. He hits those RPOs great. Jackson has struggled with that all year. That is something Buster could sell to Jackson Arnold. He look at this quarterback, 3-star nobody that I've in 1 year took down to the wire. He took a 3-star quarterback and made him into this productive, decisive machine. I think that's something you could sell to Arnold to
Hmm.
keep him to stay, which is good. But if he were to go, I'm not worried about the quarterback spot at OU. We're gonna have an NIL deal that's gonna bring a quarterback in. So Buster comes in, brings the physicality. Coach Beambo and him are match made in heaven. Then you get a quarterback and you run that and you go. The guy had spent 3 years with Georgia being a fly on the wall. I mean, his experience, the system, it just looks good.
Hmm.
Much, when you're looking at, and he's a power four, so he played against some quality teams like we just mentioned.
Sure.
It's not Portland State and San Jose State like Washington State played against.
Yep.
Okay, these are legit teams with they had a legit schedule. You just mentioned Notre Dame and
Hmm.
Georgia. Like
Yep.
those are great games to look back on. And to see like what would he be able to do that translates to the SEC more so than any other candidate. I mean, Cade Bell, Pittsburgh, a little bit had some good games, but I didn't like the game management by him. There was
Hmm.
almost every game I watched, he mismanaged timeouts, and there was weird red zone offense and stuff. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent now.
Yeah. No. No. So we'll know here in the next few days if it's one of those guys or some wild card that BV and Joe C have been keeping under wraps for the last week or so.
Yeah,
Some wild card.
I
Tony
I would be.
Romo. No, I'm kidding.
I
It was fun.
I
It
would be
was
shocked
funny
if it.
that he was at two of our
Yeah,
games, but I
yeah,
just think that's good
yeah.
entertainment. He'll
But
be
I think at
shocked.
the end
What?
of the
Yeah.
day, I don't think it's going to be Ben.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Ben. I'd be surprised if it's Ben Arbuckle. And I 7 years of coaching
Hmm.
experience, 4 in Division 1, non-power 4, just because he runs the air raid and he's not going to blow up your staff. I think I just there's a lot of messaging if it is Ben Arbuckle, if it ends up
Hmm.
being Ben. I think there's a lot of messaging beyond just hiring an OC there. Tell me the market wasn't good at all. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And one thing that, and I know we need to get into a little bit of stats and a little bit of film here in a second, but what's gonna something that's probably going to bother you and I these next few weeks is the fact that we are in a position where we need to make this hire like now. And over the course of the next few weeks, there's going to be um, other candidates that we weren't able to entertain or pursue.
yep.
And we may have a little bit of buyer's remorse potentially, depending on who we hire. So I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I hope we hire someone that just knocks our sock off. Florida State just brought Gus Malzahn back there to lead their offense.
Yep.
That's the kind of splash hire, so to speak, that we need, or just someone of that ilk to fill that position. So
I think one of the issues is there's a lot of people out there that just say, "Hey, it's the OUOC. Everybody would want to take that job," and I don't. That's not the case. These coaches are not going to uproot their families and travel across the country just to make an extra million for 1 year. They're just not going to do it.
I agree. Yeah.
And if you're telling me that Buster Faulkner and Cade Bell are your only Power Four coordinators that are on the list that are possibly leaning, we don't know. They might have just interviewed. They might not really have genuine like after the
Right.
interview be like, "Oh, you want I can only bring one guy." Okay. Like there's some things that have probably come after those conversations and candidates have pulled themselves out. That
Mm-hmm.
happens all the time. The candidate goes to the interview, they interview for the job, they learn more about it, they learn more about the expectations of their employer and goes, that's not exactly what fits me and what I want to do. And they pull themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if Buster and Cade are your only Power Four coordinators and you're really limited to
Yeah.
Ben Arbuckle and Joe Craddock,
Yeah.
that's pretty small
That's
list, man.
yeah. That's pretty damning on the state of the program, if that's the case.
Well,
If
I
we're
mean,
being honest, right?
that's the coaching circle telling you what they think
Think
of
of your
that job.
program.
And
Yeah.
who else better to get an opinion of your program than coaches who all they do is watch film, study tape, study everything. Like they are constantly studying everything.
Yeah.
All they can just double click, watch a few games of Jackson Arnold and the
Mm-hmm.
offense and go, "Whoa, that is that's not good. That there's a lot of not good there."
Yeah.
That's a huge turnaround for 1 year. And here's a question for you, Brad. We hire an
Hmm.
OC
Yeah.
and we go into next year. What is the expectation of wins for a successful season to keep everybody intact?
9.
9. So you got to get 9 wins on a tougher schedule.
Same schedule with Michigan. I know it's tougher. Yes.
I mean, you're going to have to travel to Tuscaloosa. You're going to get Ole Miss at home. You're going to
Going
have
with
Missouri at home.
Knoxville. Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
go to Knoxville.
Yeah. So
I
no,
mean,
like
that's a hard
eight,
schedule.
eight,
Like it's
eight
hard.
wins. 8 wins is the basement, and
Whew.
8 to 9 wins.
with the
Vegas will have.
possibility.
I know.
And then you got this recruiting class you're trying to hold on to the next week. You're
Hmm.
gonna have all these transfers out. Like the unknown of like how many players are gonna hit the portal and what recruits out there. Everyone's watching Fasusi.
Hmm.
What is Fasusi gonna do? He's been flirting with A&M in Texas. I
Yeah.
think he's gone. Like
I think
I think he's gone.
he's he's been very adamant, Rob. If Bedenbow is here, he is here.
Good, great. That's
So
I like
that
that.
keep Bedenbow, and you keep Fasusi.
I, I yeah, I hope that has to
I hope
happen.
it's
If
that
you
simple.
start, me too. Me too. But you get the season's now over, and everyone is in reflection mode.
Hmm.
Everyone is in reflection mode. Besides, the one, you know, besides the playoff teams, but we're all in reflection mode. We're looking back and going, "Whoa, man, this was really not good." And the recruits and their families are all, and the players and their families are all reflecting and going, "Is this where the best spot for us?" And I you've said it, you mentioned in the last pod, there's going to be some names that we don't want to hear. You named Jaden Jackson, and it tore my heart out.
Uh,
And the Bowen brothers, I don't want to
yeah,
see it, but
yeah.
but you wouldn't
I'm
have
just
said that
naming.
if it
I'm
wasn't a
naming the names.
possibility.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm naming the
possibility.
names that we don't want to lose. But they're they're on the list. Unfortunately, everybody's on the list, and there is that one thing. You have a bad season, especially on one side of the ball. Some people look at that as an opportunity to come in and make a difference. Like, oh, they're not very good at this position. Oh, they're not very good at this position. I can go in there, and I realize I'm trying to spin a positive on
Yeah.
just a terrible thing, but um, there's that too. Whether you're recruiting, I don't know, the running back rooms maybe not going to be very crowded.
Yeah.
A couple of guys leave all of a sudden, then guys like, hey, I can go in there and play. If we lose a quarterback or two, all of a sudden, all of a sudden it looks like there's an opening to play right away.
Yeah. And
Offensive
that,
line looks like it's been in shambles. Maybe there is a tackle that's like, man, their tackles just aren't very good there. I'm just
yeah.
rambling here at this point, but
Well, I mean, that in today, right? Contract dollars, not
mhm,
contract, this is not contracted, but NIL dollars will help there. But
mhm,
if the money speaks, and says, we're not so sold on this idea, then you've got a whole nother list of problems. If the money talks,
yeah,
if the money's like, we're not we're not gonna we're not gonna do that. Our NIL game is not gonna be as strong. I'm not saying it's gonna like
yeah,
disappear, but like, they just there's not as much cash flow coming in, and you
yeah,
got this long-term forecast of trying to figure out what players you're going to be able to get, and it might
mhm.
shrink a bit because there's going to be some people that are not going to be
I
believing
know, I
in this
know,
vision of 6-6 in the first SEC year after 3 years of building it. So, man, we're going to learn a lot in the next
I
like
know.
8 to 10 days.
It's going to be crazy. Uh, I'm taking the Ole Miss Ohio State recruit. Sorry, I'm following the Ohio State Ole Miss plan that they did this past year. They both emptied the bank on NIL this past year, and they're not ashamed to admit it. I just am.
Right.
Um, I want to get those guys on campus and fill the voids this year. Make the OC hire. Go all in. If we struggle next year, then it's going to be the nuclear.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up all of it.
Yeah.
But at
So,
least you know. So
yeah. So going back to my question, you said the
mm,
line was 9 wins. As an OC that is trying to come in and start in 1 year, he has to get 9 wins after last year or this year getting six. So he has to improve the win total 3 wins
mm,
on a really hard schedule in his first SEC year with possibly a brand new quarterback, most likely some surprises in the portal. You lose some players and the possibility of NIL shrinking a bit. Like that is a
loft,
tall task.
lofty expectations. But you
New
want to
system. It's gonna be a new system
you
because
want to
we
hire the guy that's not scared of that expectation, right?
yes, absolutely.
I mean,
And someone who's
Buster
done it
or
before too.
whoever,
Right.
isn't scared of that expectation. They know it's
Yeah.
OU. They know the
Yes.
expectation. There's no reason that we can't. If you just want to compare those teams that made it to 9 wins this year, we're talking the Tennessees. We're talking the Ole
Mhm.
Miss. We're talking who else am I missing here in the league? Uh, uh,
I'm pulling it up. I haven't looked at it in a while. I haven't
I
looked
don't.
at it since
Oh, Missouri. I don't know. Maybe they just got
yeah,
to
South
8.
Carolina, Missouri, Ole
We
Miss,
that
Alabama
that's where we
are
should
all
be,
9
Rob.
wins with Tennessee, Georgia, Texas. Yeah, I mean, ugh.
I mean,
We
that's
beat
not
Missouri, we
asking
beat South
much.
Carolina and this year, and we're sitting there at 8 and
Yeah.
8-4 with A&M and LSU, and um, yeah, I know it's doable. I know. I'm just saying
It is.
it's a hard. It's going to be very difficult. That is a difficult path to break in a new system and a new
Yeah,
quarterback.
and if I would have said 8, you might have been able to get there in your mind a little easier,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, I know 9 is just my expectation as an OU fan, diehard OU fan. That's all. I'm
My expectation is
you.
10.
You and I are used to 10 and 11 win seasons, like they're just, they happen every day. That's just what we were spoiled, got used to it. That's where we're at,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, do we want to jump into some stats or some film? We can
I don't
segue.
want to. No, we're skipping stats. I don't want to do
That's
stats,
fine.
man.
Yeah, we
Like
we covered
I
all the we covered all
yeah, we
the
did.
big yeah.
We're good on stats. Like we know what we've seen. We'll summarize it real quick. We have one of the best run stopping linebackers. We have one of the best run stopping efficient defenses in OU history. We've got one of the worst pass blocking efficiencies in true block sets with OU. Last time we looked, there was close to over 110 fails. There's um, probably like 120 now at least, with 11 from Spencer Brown and a couple from Ozida. So
Hmm.
you're looking at the most fails in the last 5 years. You're looking at the vertical threat. We got a pass over 50 yards, which was great. So
Yeah.
we're probably, I don't even have to look at it. We're number probably 7 air yards, 7 passes, 8 passes over air yards, which would be definitely dead last in the SEC.
Yep.
Um, so that's the summary right there. I
Yep.
mean,
Good.
I
Good.
don't. We don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
I've been looking at it every week for this whole year. That's the story.
Hey,
So we got
I just clinched first place in my fantasy football league, so I'm going to throw that out there. Woo-hoo.
this is an OU pod, man, not a fantasy football pod. We don't want to hear about first place nothing.
First place.
You had to throw
Yeah,
that in there, huh?
I did. I did. I had to get it out to the world.
How many pots did you win?
5.
5 pots. Dang, man.
5. Well, let me check. I may be in
So how
running
much
for
is that? It's like a
actually
few hundred, $200-$300.
5, and I'm in the running for my 6th this week if I can hold on to things this week. So 6 pots in first place.
Nice. So who's your top dog? Who's your top scorer?
Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, David
Man,
Montgomery, Mike Evans,
there you go.
Tyreek Hill. I
Good
got them
lord.
all, man. Yeah.
Dear lord.
Yep. That's what happens when, we have a really good guy leave the league.
All right. Let's Who are you talking about? Who
I
left
don't
the league?
know. I don't know who I'm. You.
Oh, me. Oh, right. Well, no, I was a basement dweller. I couldn't
I was
get
I was trying
4
to give you
wins.
some props there, and you didn't catch it.
No, I was like, who you talking about? Oh, White
Yeah,
Owl.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right, let's
You got
let's get
you
into
got
some
some
film.
film. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we haven't done this in a while where we look at passing game only.
Yeah.
Um for a good reason. I mean, because I don't like looking at it. Um but got some messages from some actually quite a few people, like 3 or 4 people, from texting to uh some messages on the boards and stuff that asked to look at the use the all 22, and is Jackson Arnold missing people? Is the pressure
I,
getting home?
oh, cool. That's good when
Yeah, yeah,
being asked to look at that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. We like to keep our audience happy,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I kind of went through here, and down here there's quite a few plays. I'm going to skip quite a few of them. I'm going to try to kind of just show you like what is the route trees? What's the route tree? Um, does the pressure get home? Does Jackson Arnold see it? see that route. What is his progression? And I'm not an OC, but I do know concepts on a few of these plays, like especially the mesh route. I mean, that's like a air raid classic. Any of these like air raid type routes, I I understand. But there's a couple of plays in here. I literally named it question marks because I don't know what they're trying to do. So maybe the audience can help me. So this is our first 3rd and 10, and this is the first drive. It's 3rd and 10, and we get into this like is what I call a dirty stack, where it's not quite like a stack, where you would be lined up more like one on top of each other. But we just run a 3rd and 10. We're running a screen, and this is where I'm like, here's the hole. Here's an unblocked defender. Why isn't this not more like a tunnel screen versus a stop now screen? Like this is what you would call a now screen, where he's just gonna stand here and take it now,
Right.
versus a tunnel because
Mhm.
this guy is unblocked.
Yep.
And on 3rd and 10, he just
Oof.
they make the play. Like, I mean, I don't know. I could there's just the whole point of offense is attacking grass. It's attacking grass, and this is where the grass is.
And I guess that's easier to point out sometimes after the fact. But yes, it looked like there was a huge lane there for that tunnel screen to be wide open.
Yeah. I thought this was a cool play. So this is the next drive because that 3rd and 10 obviously knocked our drive out, but they're going to run a Y crack. They're going to crack the defensive end. They're going to run pin and pull. I thought this was cool. I haven't seen them actually do this year. They've done pin and pull, but I haven't seen a crack from a wide set and then pulling 2 guys. And it does pretty good. X Rob follows his blockers. I know we said we were going to do passing game, but I like that play. So second drive, this is a Hester speed out. So Hester's out here. He's going to run a speed out. I'll let it run, and we can come back to it. Look at this. This is a play where, as a quarterback, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. DB is 9 yards off the ball. Okay, he's 9 yards off the ball. And this is the right call. Speed out. This is an easy pitch and catch, but Arnold just decides to take the swing like now. And I guarantee you the swing is not the first read. The swing is never the first
Sure.
progression.
That's a check
Ever.
down.
So that has to be 1, or he
Mhm.
should see this is 1. And for some reason, he just doesn't take it. Like the DB is bailing. Like there's 5 yards of cushion. There's plenty of space to throw this rock, and he doesn't take it. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of strange at first, and I kept watching. So this is my first question mark. This is the same drive. This is 1st and 10. I'm not sure what this play is because again, I put 10 question marks on what we were trying to do here. So you got Bauer that's doing this like weird block. We got a half roll, like not really a half roll, but a rollout. There's nobody doing anything. That this Hester's going upfield. He never turns around. Like I'm not. There's not looking at anybody.
No.
There's nothing here. You got a lineman downfield. You've got a swing.
Did we get called for that?
I don't know.
Wow, he is downfield.
He's downfield.
Hmm.
I feel like this needs to be a corner route, and Hester didn't read it right. I'm assuming that, again, these DBs are off. Look how far off they are. You can easily run a hitch. You could roll the quarterback route. roll the hitch, and then hit him on the sideline. That is easy pitch and catch, but Hester just runs out here, doesn't ever turn around. It's almost like he's blocking. I don't know what that play is. Can you tell what play this is? Like what he's trying to do here?
No, and I don't even know was it a designed rollout or did he just roll out?
Uh,
I mean,
I,
it looks like a designed rollout.
I mean, he's blocking. They're all
I don't know,
blocking,
man.
blocking. I don't,
So
I don't know.
I don't think it was a designed rollout. He just rolled into.
But then why do you have an offensive lineman working upfield, and why are all these
I don't
receivers
know.
blocking? Was he supposed to give it? Maybe was this a run play and he just
Was
didn't give it?
was that yeah? Was that a shovel that he missed?
So he's going out. He's not expecting. There's no mesh.
There's
He's
no
not
shovel.
expect.
That you see what I mean? That looked
Maybe
like it
this
could have
is a
been a
shovel
shovel.
to him, like a shovel to
Maybe,
him,
maybe.
and Arnold just completely ignored it.
Yeah, because he
Maybe
read the end picking the play. I
yeah,
don't know, man.
I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, let's go to same drive. This is 3rd and 6, and um, this is this is the play. So they ran this play a lot. This is a play that they ran. I counted at least 2 more times. They were going to do a hitch, a stick, and a go. And at the top of this route, Arnold, I mean, this guy, the timing on this is obviously awful because he's expecting Jordan to turn around and he doesn't and just throws it into his butt or whatever.
Yep.
And you would usually get this like when a running back comes out and does like a little, a sit in front of the ball, they're told, "Hey, when the quarterback looks at you, then you break left or right."
Hmm.
And the quarterback just dumps it off. Here, I feel like he was expecting the sit and turn, but
Yep. Yep.
Jacob Jordan's working left and right. I don't know. It's stupid. Anyway, but they try to run this play a couple more times, and I'll show you. I will, also want to show you these DBs on 3rd and 6 playing soft press. So this is the 50-yard bomb, and all you got is you're gonna get Hester to step inside and will step inside and go. And he uses the hash marks. This is a good route. He uses the hash marks as a landmark for his route. After this, I was giddy. I was like, "Oh my god, we're doing it!" Little step, get up,
Good ball, good catch.
good ball, good physicality there. Uses the hash marks as his landmark.
Hmm.
Good route.
Yeah.
So that was drive 4. Uh, just to mention, drive 3 was 3 straight runs for a 3 and
Mm.
out.
Okay.
So then now we're drive 4. We run some quarterback GT counter, blocked well, executed well. He takes off, and now we're cooking with gas, man. And then we get into the goal line and we punch it in. Holy crap! What a great drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Feeling good,
Get in,
aren't we?
yeah, we're feeling good. And then drive 5, 1st and 10. This is where I'm like, how did we miss this throw?
Oof.
Reagan's just going to run a curl, off man, bailing out, and it's wide open. I
Mhm.
mean, this is just a wide open
Just
throw.
just throws it high
There's
and out,
there's
and he had
nobody in
yeah.
his face.
Yep.
It's a good pocket. Timing's awful. You shouldn't have a corner a receiver standing there like that waiting on the ball for that long when you've got an open pocket like that. Because again, this is his first read.
Mhm.
That's his first read. He's not reading anything else. I'm not sure why he's taking that long to get the ball out. Boom. He reads it. It's pass. He's staring right at. I mean, he might be looking at Jordan because that he does lock on some people, but he just makes a terrible throw.
Yep.
This is a
Yep.
bad throw.
It is. Yep.
So then you get into 2nd and 10, and he just, there's your production there. What you said, 77 yards?
90 yards. Yeah, 90 yards
90.
for Arnold. Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Now you're going to couldn't complete the curl, which is a 12-yard route. We're going to try to run the 6-yard hitch, and he has better timing, throws a better ball. Great. Awesome. A little bit of fight there. So it's like, okay, curl maybe not so good. Hitch, a little bit shorter, a little bit better. So we're still in drive 5. We're going to go 1st and 10. Different route tree. You're going to get double post. And I believe you get like an out down here at the bottom with Reagan's. No, dude, you're going to get a cross or a fade, sorry. Double post and a fade. He's got a pocket. He's looking at this. LSU ran a lot of cover 4 in this game. They had 4 guys deep a lot, whether it was quarters or just spot drop. He dumps it off. He can't complete it, but it was actually the right call because there was nothing open on that route on that routing concept. The double post.
I felt like Jordan came open.
Where's he at?
He's right there. The
right here.
front. Yep, he came open in that route, but Arnold just didn't wait for it. Yeah, he had 2 steps on the defender.
Yeah, so this is where instead of okay, I remember this now. So again, post 10 yards and then basically in. It's like a elongated slant, 10 and out. Look at all this space.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sending a blitz, and so this is not cover 4 like I was saying. This is straight man. This is cover 1. And you're right, he does open up, but
he's watch, it opens up and Jordan's got a lane there if he just gets it to him.
Yep.
That'd have been an easy 20-yard pickup. See that?
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah, they played a lot of cover 4, but in this instance, this is cover 1. They're showing split field and they're sending pressure, and they've got this open. But I'm gonna play this one more time. Look at all this space in the middle of the field. If Jordan ran a slant here instead of a post, if he's breaking on this, he would be. I mean, look at all that space.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it's an extra 5 steps, and then is cut, and then by that time, he's already thrown the ball.
Yep.
And this comes into play later. We run. So again, this is cover 1. We come back with double slants somewhere in here, and it ends up being zone instead, and they pass it off. So then, actually, it's a very next play.
Yep, he broke off his route on that one.
So then, yep. So look, so now it's double slants. So they're literally running double slants,
into
but
the
now
coverage.
they ran right into the coverage because LSU saw that he was open, and then they changed it and went into cover 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's trying to look that way, but it's already covered up.
Yeah, our OC's playing checkers and the DCs are playing chess.
Yes, sir. I thought this was interesting. So this is you're gonna get a delay switch, you're gonna get a post, and then you're gonna get a corner, and you're gonna get scissors. This is what you call like a scissors concept. And then I forgot what this guy does, but we can watch it. So again, Jordan's gonna let Hester work upfield. Hester's gonna run a little skinny post. Jordan's gonna get cover 2. Awesome call. Awesome throw. They're running cover 2 up here again, and they run a corner right into the hole shot. This is probably like the second best throw of the game. Drive 5.
Even better catch.
Yeah. So now you're 3rd and 12 after a couple plays, run plays, and failed plays. It's 3rd and 12. I don't like this call. Gonna run GT quarterback counter. Or sorry, guard Y, guard H-back counter on 3rd and 12. Kind of giving up on the drive, don't you think?
Yep, totally.
So it is drive 6. It's 24-17. It's pretty fast how we rip through here. We're just looking at fast plays. So
Yeah.
this is, you got 2 timeouts. It's 24-17. Your quarterback is, he had a couple missed opportunities, but he hit the 50-yard bomb. He hit that corner route versus cover 2. He got you in scoring distance. Your OC decided to run it on 3rd and 12 for whatever reason. And in 45 seconds and 2 timeouts, they just run the ball out and ended your drive 6. I just thought that was kind of weak, but whatever. So go into the new half. It's 24-17 OU. Start of the 3rd quarter. Got a now screen, which I wish that we had some more screens on that off-man coverage, but we didn't really run. But that one and the one at the beginning of the game, that was bad. 3rd and 7, drive 7. Right after the half, Arnold does his thing on a scramble. Send 5. Lots of pressure. There's nothing you could have asked him better than that.
Mm-hmm.
There's, again, quarterback production. Pretty good there. Drive 7, first down. You're going to run GT counter, and you're going to read this defensive end. You remember what I mentioned about linebackers teeing off and just running with reckless abandonment?
Mm-hmm.
Here's your number 18.
Yeah.
He is taking off. Like, the action is to the offense's left. He is taking off to the defense's left. I mean, he is like, I mean, he is. And look, there's a huge running lane.
Yep.
I mean, and just sent X-Rob right there.
Yeah. There's not a lot of, there's only so many plays that our offense can run. After a while, the linebackers, they know what's coming.
Okay. Yes. Right. I mean, there's only some. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, there's only so
limited.
much.
Yeah.
It is limited. Okay. So here we go. It's drive 7. It's 3rd and 8. It's the first drive in the 3rd quarter. We're still in this game. Where we run, we're going to run a mesh. And if I remember right, you're going to get. Actually, let me watch it first, but I'm pretty sure you're going to get Bauer, who's going to be creating the mesh 5 yards deep. And then you're going to get Jacob Jordan that's going to come underneath it. And this is, I know this for a fact, okay? As this mesh is created, the first read is Jacob Jordan. Okay? That he is the first progression read. And for some reason, Arnold does not look at him. So let's watch Jordan work his way across the field. There's the mesh. I don't like the way we run the mesh. I don't like this try to create a rub pick. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that. I don't think that's the right way to run it. You need to just run through because he takes himself out of the play when
Sure.
he does that. Anyways, so Arnold, he that's open. Like that is an open. He can hit Jacob over here, and he just doesn't look at it, and instead runs around. And then he comes back and throws it. This is where I'm like, what are
Yeah.
this does not make any sense. That's not, again, let's watch this from the end zone. Again, you're going to have Bauer's going to go at least 6 yards or less and create the mesh. And then you're going to get Jacob Jordan come right underneath it. And there's going to be tons of space out here. And Arnold just doesn't see it. And you tell me, Brad, if there's if pressure negates this play.
He had a pocket.
And where does his eyes go? He's the first read. I will bet my house he is the first read. The mesh point is the first read. Then you've also got a crosser that's coming in. I didn't point that out. You also got a crosser.
And he's got space.
And he's open. And for some reason, this is happy feet. He's got happy feet.
Yep. Watch him. He turns. I think this is a play. He turns a complete 180. Yep. So for a half a second there, he's not even looking the right direction of the field.
So I'm going to play it one more time. You're going to get a crosser. This safety is biting on Bauer. Okay? He is biting on Bauer, which is exactly what you want. This safety here is biting down on Bauer as he's coming across. Here, I'm going to mix these colors up so that you're going to get the mesh. And then you're going to get Reagan's going down on a cross. And as this safety bites down, vacates all this space where Reagan's running, and then the man, because this is man coverage, trying to work his way across the field. Look at all that space. 1, 2. And if he was looking with his eyes, he would have, seen this safety bite down.
If he wouldn't have turned his back. Yeah, if he wouldn't have turned his back, that would have been an easy completion.
To either one of them. I mean, this could have been a touchdown. That's definitely some positive yards. Anyway, and we run mesh again, and we'll take a look at it. So this is again, we're figuring out that LSU is playing a lot of off-man coverage. So we run a jet to a speed out. And what is the difference between this play and all the plays that Arnold has had is that this is a one-read play. This play is going to Jacob Jordan or it's not happening. Versus the other plays where he had like 1, 2, 3, that play is completed, got production out of it, great, but it's a one-read play. 3rd and 3, this is so that 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 mesh that we watched, we went into a new drive. This jet sweep and roll is now drive 8, and now we're looking at 3rd and 3. This ends up being zone, and he scrambles out. So here we go. We're running mesh again. Here's a mesh, but this time they're not running man-to-man. They're running zone, and he is looking at the right progression, but they're now running zone, and they're passing off these underneath defenders as they are within the no coverage zone. Zone coverage, you're not going to cover anything that's within 5 yards. You're going to pass off the underneath routes. You get the mesh, and Arnold just, hey, I don't have anything. I'm just going to take off. You got the corner up here. You got the swing. And you really would like to see these guys kind of work towards the QB a little bit, but gets a free yard. So they ran mesh a few times. Yeah, that one was against zone. And then on this drive, you get the play that no one wants to watch again. Drive 8.
Oof.
Try to do a little tight end throw back to the quarterback and throws interception. So drive 8 goes Kapui. Go to drive 9. Drive 9. And you get pressure from Spencer Brown. And ends up being a sack. Drive 9, 3rd and 11. Five-man rush. There's nobody. Sack. And I don't see anybody open. I mean, this guy's actually looking like he's open.
He's breaking open a little bit. Yeah, he was open by a long ways.
Yeah, he was open. Pressure negates it, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then drive 9's dead. Then you go to drive 10. And this is where the game is pretty much, it's 34-17 in the fourth quarter, drive 10. And here's that play again that we saw in the beginning. You're going to get a hitch, a go, and a hitch. So they're in trips to the field. You're outside. Your X is going to run a hitch. Your looks like this is probably the Z here. It's going to run a fade or a go route. And then your H is going to run a hitch. And they ran this before, and they're trying to. And for whatever reason, Arnold sees Happy Feet again with the pressure that he's got and gets us another sack. But you tell me, does this pressure or is this Happy Feet?
That's
It's kind of
pressure.
like
That's pressure.
Pressure.
Yeah.
So if you look, it's 1st and 10. Look at Hester up here and the 9 to 10 yards off man coverage by the DB. I mean, he's wide open.
Yeah.
And
that's not pressure in that instance. When you show it from that angle, he could have released the ball right there.
That's what I was seeing too.
Yeah.
I mean, go let it rip.
Let it fly. Yep.
And this play, they run again, and he misses it again. So in this coverage is cover 4. You got Maud down at the top. You got deep, and they're allowing these underneath throws because I don't think they think they could. Jackson can hit it. So let's look at the other one. This is let's go. I'll go ahead and just skip over to it. So here's the next drive, 3rd and 11. I'm sorry, 3rd and 3. They're running the exact same play. 3rd and 3, hitch from the X, a go from the Z, and another hitch from or a stick from your slot H. And it's the exact same coverage. This is cover 4. This match quarters. You got man on demand out here. He goes shallow. He messes. He signals to the linebacker to take the underneath route. You've got three deep defenders. 14 becomes the new defender, and here's the hitch by Hester. And he doesn't see it. This is 3rd and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he throws it beyond the sticks, and now it's 4th and 8, and not 3rd and 3.
Had two guys open to that other side of the field.
That's what I saw. I mean, that's all I pretty much had. I skipped over some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to your original. So a couple of viewers wanted to know if Jackson was missing some guys or whatever, and you've shown the answer is yes, and it has been yes all year. So you're actually showing video footage of it. So
yep. So here's another mesh. So this is 4th and 7. This is the next play. You're gonna get a chip by Bauer. He's the guy who's gonna create your mesh. You're gonna get Jacob Jordan coming underneath it. You got a mandatory mandatory outside release by the X. He's pretty much gone. Like, he's not a part of this play. This is your first read right here. This is the first progression, is looking at Jacob Jordan, if he can work himself, and Spencer Brown does a bad job, and now he has to come outside. Now, the reason why I mentioned I don't like Bauer and how they've coached him to run this mesh, because he comes in here and he does this little stutter slash, I'm gonna get in front of this guy and I'm gonna try to, pick and rub this dude. Don't do that crap. Just go. You've got the DB behind him. Look at him. He's got him beat.
Yep.
He's got him beat. You don't have to do that. That right there, that is JV level of designing mesh right there. They do not do that. Like, you don't have to. Just let it run. Just run it. Run as fast as you can. These guys will work. You'll create space naturally
Mm-hmm.
in man coverage. But because he does that little stutter step, it gets the DB time as he's trying to accelerate, and now he's covered.
It may have slowed both of them down.
Yep. I don't know. And then he fumbles and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But we talked about how Joe John Finley, it'd be good to have like a internal candidate after watching this passing game
We
closely
don't.
again, and I haven't in a while because I didn't want to watch it.
Yep. We
Can't.
don't have an internal candidate.
No, we do not have an internal candidate.
Oh. Yeah. So just some of the stuff I'm seeing about recruiting and guys entering the portal and guys decommitting. Players talk. They know some things that are going on the inside. There's a chance we're losing coaches, and of course
Absolutely.
the recruits they were committed to the coach. They say they're committed to the university, but they're committed to the coach. So if you see wide receivers decommitting, sometimes that's a flag that they know Emmett's on his way out. So I think we're going to be watching things like that transpire over these next 2 weeks, because we basically have a receiver hitting the portal, a receiver decommitting, and two other receivers that may be decommitting within the next 2 days. So what's that tell you?
Emmett's gone.
Yeah. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of that happening. I just wanted to bring that up, just from the things that I'm seeing out there.
Which now that makes sense. Kitley's not a real player because the two of them work together.
Yep.
Good. And Kitley's not going to go there if his compadre that he worked with for a year says, "Yeah, I'm not going to be there anymore."
And that may mean, you don't know what that means. That could mean. And there's also another note that Fasusi's now kind of wavering away from OU.
Well, I mean, we knew that. I mean, he was flirting with
Well,
other people.
he was committed to Beatonbow. So if Fasusi's starting to lean away from OU, there's a chance,
Oh
Rob,
my God.
there's a chance we make an OC hire that's trying to clean house.
Wow.
I'm
I mean,
I'm
if
not
that's what
saying
they
that's
want, I just want wins, man.
I'm just that's where things are pointing. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but it can make one wonder when you start seeing things like that. That's all. But
Yeah.
I know we can go on and on about that.
Who's the wide receiver that jumped in the portal?
Petaway.
Oh, yeah, that was expected. And
It's not
the
a surprise.
decommitment? And the decommitment?
Marcus Harris was the decommitment, and then Cortez Mills and Grayson Holton are expected to be decommitting as well. So maybe 3 decommitments out of this class. It's gonna, yeah. We got a couple other guys. It was a heavily, I think we had 4 or 5 guys committed at one point. So there's still a couple out there, and of course we'll hit the portal trying to get a guy. I'm really hoping a couple of guys come back. Where it's Anthony. Who's the other one? Anthony,
Jaden Gibson,
Farouk, Gibson. Burks, 50-50.
Anderson,
Yeah, all of them.
all of them.
So if some of
I'm
them
not.
come back, then some of these guys that are leaving right now or decommitting aren't as big as blow, of course. But
Yeah,
anyway, I know you and I will get into some of the recruiting talk, especially after Wednesday, since it's early signing day Wednesday. So we'll be following the OC news the next few days, and then Wednesday signing day. I'm sure we'll want to get back on here and talk about who we kept in the class and
yeah.
who ended up
We need
flipping
to
or whatever. So
we need to get our friendly recruiting expert out on
Mr.
the show and
Mason.
talk to. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to him this year
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
far. Been so busy. Need to have him come on and give us a lowdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Today would have been a good day to kind of get his pulse on things, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we had a good show, man.
We did.
We went through the passing game. We went OC talk, and we basically kind of reviewed the year a little bit. And the next 8 to 10 days are going to be pretty wild. We're probably gonna have to jump on here in a couple more days and another couple more days to get through
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Um,
We'll have some hot mics we need to get on here pretty quick
yeah,
next couple of days. But no, I enjoyed it. I know it was a rough year, but it's our first season as a pod to go through together. So I've
hmm
enjoyed it despite the roller coaster mostly down this year that we've had.
yeah,
It's been fun, and we've had to have a little bit of internal fortitude, so to speak, on these podcasts coming on Sundays, because
yeah.
there's been some Sundays where like, uh, yeah,
Just
we
so
still need to
negative.
have a podcast.
It's so doom and gloom.
Yeah,
Uh, we
but we
need
did it.
happier times.
That's right. That's right.
We're just paying our dues for when we become a championship team, and we're going through all this like our keeping to our formula, and it'll be super fun then.
It will.
Super
It
fun.
will. Yeah. 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 No, good times are ahead for sure. But stay tuned, everyone. We know there's news coming, whether we want to hear it or not. There's news coming. It'll be all over the place for the next several weeks. So stay tuned. I really appreciate everyone that's joined us this year, not just this week. It's been fun, and we're going to keep on trucking along here. So enjoyed it, and until next time, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Thanks, guys.